we've got very fancy words for privatization. And at the end of the day, it's all privatization. And again, we will not support that. Because what you see happening here is, I've said this in the Portfolio Committee of Transport as well, that the standard technique for privatization is to defund, make sure that things don't work, and then people get angry and you hand it over to private capital. And that's exactly what's happening with our entities. And I think the department needs to know that we understand this, that that's a standard, that's how you privatize. And from where we stand, we do not want to privatize strategic national assets. So we need to know, and we need to have people's heads roll, people who have been doing this deliberately. Unfortunately, some of them are no longer with us, people who knew exactly what they were doing, and I think everyone here knows who I'm talking about. But when this is treasonous. When you take state entities and you make sure that they don't work, and especially with entities like Transnet, you cannot have a Transnet that's not working, because Transnet is the backbone of the country. It's the backbone of our transport infrastructure. It's the backbone of everything. Everything that comes into the country has to go through our ports, which is Transnet. Everything that leaves the country that would actually increase into our GDP has to go through our railroads and transport. So the minute we start to defund, for instance, PRASA, we've got derailments all over the country because PRASA has been deliberately sabotaged. And we know that it's deliberately sabotaged. If you ask that who has been managing the downfall of these entities and where are they now, they're still enjoying fat, cushy jobs wherever they sit. You've got people at Transnet who are sitting here, Minister, that are, and let me make an example for you. You've got, and I'll name names here. You've got a company called Liquid and Datacentrics at Transnet. Liquid and Datacentrics run parallel and they do the same thing. The one of them, the contract ended 4 years ago, but they're still getting paid today. You've got managers there at Transnet telling you that no, we are managing the handover from Liquid, I think, to Datacentrics, and I stand to be corrected on who's handing over to who here. But 4 years later, they're still telling you that no, they're handing over. And this is the cost of millions. And I believe that this year alone, they've been paid over 74 million, almost 100 million rand that they've been paid to date. And Chairperson, both of these companies are running concurrently at Transnet. And then people are going to tell you that, no, we've got the most competent people working for Transnet. They're incompetent. They're incompetent. Because now, I think, Chair, and through you, we need to get to a position or get to a point where we actually ask for the qualifications of these people who work at Transnet. Because I believe that those people are incompetent. We have not even brought in our B team. This is like the C team or the D team that's running Transnet. And now I think it's irresponsible for us as a portfolio committee, especially Scopa, and this is for Scopa and Transport, to not vet the people who are running these entities to make sure that we've got the best people running these entities. We've got declines in volumes at PRASA, extreme declines, yet you hear the department saying we must privatize. What do they call this thing that they want to do at Transnet? It's, what is it again? What is it?
Describe it, maybe.
It's vertical
integration.
Vertical integration. That's not going to work. They know that's not going to work. They know it's not going to work, because now you're saying vertical integration, but then the other day we sat with the CEO of Transnet, and he said, we do not earn money if we do not move volumes. If they do not move volumes, but they want to take those volumes and give them to private sector, what do they mean? You are not moving volumes, but you want to take the same entity and give it over to, you want to take the same work and give it over to private capital. How are you planning on making this entity viable? How are you planning on making this entity survive? The current loss position of transit of 7 billion rand, it's not acceptable. 5 years ago, 6 years ago, 2017, 2018, that entity made a profit of 5 billion rand. Profit, 5 billion rand. 5, 6 years later, that same entity, the very same entity, is working on a 7, it's actually, it's not even 7, it's actually more. More than 7 billion rand loss.